When someone accidentally threw away the school play costumes,
Oh no!
replacements were shipped with FedEx. And with picture proof of delivery, everyone could focus on the perfect opening night. FedEx, where now meets next. For residential delivery only.
'Tis the season to shine with H&M. Discover the holiday collection and find fashionable pieces for your wardrobe or for under the tree. Get inspired and dazzle with this year's glam. From tuxedo styles, bow detailed pieces, impressive prints, and more. From unforgettable looks to unforgettable gifts. With fashion finds to home decor, find it all at H&M. Treat your loved ones and yourself this season. Shop in-store or at hm.com.
Hey, what's up? It's the ManFUzed Podcast. Kaylee here, my co-host Ben H. So today on the ManFUzed Podcast, we're going to weigh in on an email we got from a listener with an all too common problem when it comes to spending time with each other's families for the holidays. Why is there always so much drama around it? And we think we have identified one common denominator in all the drama. And let me just say, logic plays no part. We'll get to that in a minute. This is post-Thanksgiving.
Post-Turkey Day.
We hope from the ManFUzed Podcast, you and your family, your loved ones, gave thanks and had a great holiday with your family, friends, or whoever the fuck you wanted to spend it with. You might have noticed that last week we did not release a new episode. I did what was called a ManFUzed Podcast rewind.
Yes.
And so I rewinded this time last year, and it was, we got some requests for some of our bits or segments that people liked, and so I just did a rewind.
Yeah.
Ben and I, in all truth, recorded an hour and a half's worth of audio the week before last, which could have been a new episode, but as I started editing it, I was like, do people even fucking care? And we talked an hour and a half about straight business stuff. And while if you are a business owner, great. I don't know what the percentages of business owners, entrepreneurs to, that mindset who listens to us, or if they just want to be entertained. And I was like, well, this is a behind the scenes conversation we're having in front for everyone to hear. I just didn't know if it was interesting. I just didn't know if I wanted to post it.
Well, really didn't get anywhere anyways, but it was interesting conversation.
The funny part that I wanted to get to was when you were like, everybody's saying, fuck you to me. I go here and they're like, fuck you, Ben. And I go here and I'm like, fuck you, Ben. And then you just went off on this tangent, not saying that it was funny that that's how you felt, but it was funny the way you were describing it.
Well, sometimes that's just how it be. You know what I mean? And
life does not always hand you roses.
Well, no, but you have to embrace everything that's going on and be grateful for everything that you're surrounded by, and ultimately, chart the course of action that's really best for you. I think that when life starts pushing back at you, you just have to recalibrate and say, all right,
good.
What's going to be the best course of action from here forward? Given my interests, you know what I mean?
Right.
And so, that's what you do. You just soldier on.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just, maybe I'll post it at a later date. I just was like, God, I don't know. Because we've had a lot of business talk lately about, the stuff that you and I have been building and what we've been creating, what we have created. And I was like, well, I just don't know. I try to have a pulse. And like you said last week, you pointed something out. You're like, 93 episodes. I didn't want it to not be fun. Other than your rant, there wasn't, much funny. And we're going to record more. We had other topics. We just didn't get to it.
Right. Well, hopefully the rewind was enjoyed.
Well, I think it was because it was there were some funny topics on that rewind. So check that out.
Funny things always happen during the holidays,
Oh, yeah.
It's a time of great humor.
Oh, it is.
Especially memories to look back upon. And you have to be grateful. Hopefully everyone in your family's doing well. If they're not, we're praying for them and so forth. But man, funny things happen during the holidays.
Man, it's that family dynamic.
At the height of frustration too. That's the funniest. Those are the funniest times.
Oh, yeah. And I don't know what it is. And actually, this is going to be because we got a letter from a listener. We didn't get to address it the previous week, but it did make me think. So they wrote to the ManFUzed Podcast. They needed some advice for the upcoming holidays. My husband and I have been together 3 years, and I'm going to tell this story, but it's really what this couple endures really is, I would say, universal when you start talking to couples, and then, the husband's parents are coming, and then the wife's parents are coming, and depending on how fucked up each family is, or
there's always a rub too.
Oh, there's always. That's what I'm talking.
Especially if it's the husband's parents.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know.
Well, let's hear this little letter.
With the wife's parents, it is too, but the man is just really expected to soldier through it.
Right. So here's what they said. Every year when the holidays come around, it leads to a huge fight because I want to spend half the day with my family and half the day with his family. I feel like this is a fair trade. I have a very strong dislike for his mother and also hate spending time at her house.
Yeah.
I have already let my family and my husband know we would be going to Thanksgiving this year. Well, on Monday, my husband texted me saying he would like to spend the entire day with his family. I told him we had already planned on going to both and I would not cancel because we only spent 30 minutes with my family last year. He got pissed off, told me I always make everything about me and we only do whatever I want.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, if we had it my way, we wouldn't have any communication with his family and we would only see my family.
Yeah.
I felt like spending half a day with each family was a fair trade since we both strongly dislike going to the other's Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
We have this fight every year. And it's made the holidays miserable.
Yeah.
And I hear this. I feel like no matter what I propose, she says, he's mad if we have to see my family at all. And I'm like, I hear this all the time.
Yeah.
Now, granted, sometimes my wife is bitching about my family. And I don't know if that's just, she's just venting her frustration. I think, one part of my wife's, frustration is that her mom is no longer with us.
Yeah, that's tough.
So a lot of times there's this comparison to what her mom would have done versus what my parents are doing.
Right.
What her mom would have done if she was alive versus what my parents are currently doing or not doing.
Right.
And while her mom, I can't say enough good things about her. I mean, she lived in my basement for, God, I'm so bad with times.
The old basement dweller.
Well, no, she had an apartment. I mean, we have she had her own space.
It's
but
nice.
She was sick when she moved here or was in remission. And I
have to get a vape.
No problem. And there's nothing I could say. Like, normally you would think when I hear of mother-in-laws or, family members coming to live with you, normally I hear, like, I need that fucking person out of my house. Like,
sooner than later.
My wife's mom, like, I never got in an argument. She was cool as fuck. She was a great grandparent. She was a great, Erin, I would hang out with her mom sometimes when Erin wasn't even around because Erin wasn't into, I think it was Game of Thrones at the time. Well, her mom loved Game of Thrones.
And so did you.
And so did I. So I would come down to the basement.
Especially when the dragon lady came on the scene.
Spoiler alert.
She was rad.
Oh, yeah.
Rad.
She was hot.
She was hot and rad.
Oh, yeah. She liked to get mowed.
Killed cool.
So,
and she was a real woman.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
where are we going with this?
I'm just saying.
The comment
but there's a rub always when you hear about it.
Yes.
Is there a rub in your house?
Yeah, a little bit, but I try to just kind of like get past it as much as possible. And I think in terms of the listener here who wrote the letter, my proposition would be, hey, let's just do what we want to do. You go see your family. I will go see my family. That way, neither of us has to be in the unpleasant scenario of being with each other's family. And this, to me, sounds like somebody that lives, obviously, in the same town with both of their parents. For us, it's a little different because neither of our parents live here. They both live 5 hours away from here. So it's always a very special occasion when we get to go to their home or when they get to come to our home. Thankfully, we all get along very well. I mean, yes, there are little snags here and there. Mostly, if I'm being honest, and I have to be honest, mostly all of the snags, and I don't have to point out any one or two or three or four people, it always has to do with, wait for it.
What? But drum roll.
Women. It has to do with the women 100% of the fucking time. And I tell my wife this all the time. Okay? I go, I want you to just pay attention to the drama that's being discussed right now and understand that it has nothing to do with men. The guys get along. Even if we don't like each other, we still get along. Even if I hate your football team, I still watch your football game. I'm at your house. I drink your shitty beer. I fucking hang out. You know what I'm saying?
I deal with your fucking ridiculous comments or fucking perspective.
Exactly. And I'm not even talking about my family because, to be completely honest with you, whenever we go to visit Alabama, Jen's stepfather and I are boys.
Right,
We're
right.
friends.
He's a cool dude.
He's a really cool guy. And then when we go to my home in Florida to visit my family, guess what? Me and my pops, we're friends, bro. We're boys. You know what I'm saying? We hang out. We smoke cigars. We drink whiskey.
So it's your wife that's bitching.
Well, it's not just my wife. It's the dynamics that women create with each other. And I'm not saying it's my wife's fault. I'm not saying that
it is
my mother-in-law's fault or my mother's fault or whoever else is going to be involved in the situation. But I will say that it is the majority of the time the situation has to do with females. And let's just paint a picture of a situation that it's not the female, okay?
I can't think of one.
In the case of this letter, right?
Okay. And let's point out, I don't see anything about kids, which kids, if there was a kids dynamic, that makes it harder to just go your own way. Because both sets of family probably want to see the kid more than they want to see you or her.
Absolutely. But if you live in the same town, hey, no problem. You're going to be at your mom's house all day. You guys can have the kids until 1 o'clock.
Right.
I'm going to come pick the kids up, take them to Grandpa's house. We'll see you back at the house around 8 or 9.
But from what I see, no kids are mentioned, so it makes it easier to just go your own fucking way.
Hey,
we'll meet up at 8 or 9 o'clock.
We love each other. Don't have to love each other's parents, we don't have to love each other's family, and we don't have to have it become a problem for our relationship just because when I go over there, you treat me a certain way, or when you go over there, you get treated a certain way. And I know couples that have this problem, and it's typically with
the women.
Wait for it.
The women?
Mom and wife.
Right.
Mom and wife.
It's either mother-in-law or mom.
Right. Or mom.
Right.
And wife.
It's always, you're right. It's
we're not always that way.
Yeah,
always
because dudes are like, I only have to be with them for a few hours. Like, I can fucking just
let's
chill.
Let's just say this, because this guy's saying, hey, I don't like going over to your parents' house either. Well, I wonder why. I wonder why he doesn't like it. I guarantee you, I would be surprised. Let's say it like this. I'd be surprised if it was because of the way that he was treated by her father.
Oh my God, no.
Do you think that he doesn't like going over there because of the way that her dad treats him?
Unless her dad is like Meet the Parents, Robert De Niro.
Which could be the case. I'm just saying. But even still, Meet the Parents, Robert De Niro, I would have had fun with that guy.
Oh, my God.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
I mean,
he would have been fucking with me like that.
I would
have
had fun with him.
Oh,
I would have
yeah.
had a great time.
Oh, yeah.
But it was a funny movie. So,
right.
Point being, they ended up becoming boys.
Yes.
In the end.
Right.
And how he was poking at the guy for being a nurse and stuff. That was hilarious.
Oh, my God. It was
hilarious.
So funny.
You know what I'm saying?
But it also takes, Ben Stiller in that movie played this, like, straight pussy of a dude.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I mean, like,
exactly. And nothing wrong with, like, being a nurse if you're a dude.
No, I'm not even talking about his profession.
And then this other guy's like a CIA op. He's like James Bond.
But just
James Bond.
But just the camera angle on the first introduction when they get out of the car and Robert De Niro's on the like second step and the camera angle pans down at Ben Stiller and he looks all small. So and he's like, "Oh, did you choose that color of a car?" No, I didn't. Oh, because you would have been genius if you would have. People pick green. Like,
that's right. Yeah, he just they're the double entendre.
Oh my God! Yeah,
all over the place.
But that being said, I'm not saying that dynamic doesn't happen, but I think guys, like, if you're treating the daughter well, most dads are going to be accepting of it. I mean, I would think, but you're right. I would say 90, if you look and had a lens on all these dynamic issues, I'd say it's the fucking woman.
Typically it's the women. Yes.
It's the women.
The women are the ones.
And I'm not trying to.
I mean, what do you say when you say, "Hey, bro, you want to go do something for," who do you got to ask?
The women.
Now, nothing's going on. Nothing. She's got nothing planned. There's nothing on the calendar. You don't really have to ask permission to see if there's anything on the calendar. You're asking to see if you're allowed to go. Because otherwise, the hell that you're going to have to deal with, because there's going to be something magical that's just going to magically appear on the calendar.
Oh, yeah.
Something that she was planning on doing. A way that she had imagined things going. And this is part of the problem. Okay? Part of the problem is the difference between how you imagine things to be versus how they are. Or how you imagine things will go versus how they go.
Because, that's all about setting expectation.
Right.
Because if that's how you get disappointed. When you expect a certain result.
Exactly.
Or a certain way, and it doesn't go that way, you're disappointed. Same with putting together a deal. You get so excited about the possibility of the deal.
Sure.
You can imagine at the closing table, taking out your Mont Blanc pen, signing the doc,
100%.
getting a $100,000 check.
Yeah.
You can smell it.
Yeah.
You can taste it. And then...
Especially when you're going through the motions of it.
Yeah, and then it all falls apart.
Yep.
And you're fucking bummed.
Right.
And so that's why you start to train yourself on a business side. And I think, I'm not going to say all women, but all women, but men too, don't fixate on your imagination of the fucking result or the day, because that's how you set yourself up for disappointment and you can't maneuver.
Or it's also how you set up your significant other
for failure,
for constant failure, no matter what the outcome is. If you put your stake in the ground of imagining a scenario which is impossible, okay?
Right.
The scenario that you imagine is so far off from the way it really is. And what do? We get so beat up by this constant barrage that we literally try. We try to actually create it. We try, oh my God, if I could just match her expectation with reality.
No.
And it never works.
Yeah, this isn't a fairy, because it's not a fairy.
The way that she's acting. Or
Right.
she said I could pull this out earlier than I do it. My mom kept it in longer, and so that's the way that I do it. And my mom's not here to defend herself. And so, I mean, dude, and it could just go on and on and on for just a constant misery. And guess what? At the end of the day, the question becomes, does it just make you happy to create chaos?
Yes.
Does it just make you happy to be unhappy? Because we all know that you could, if you so desired, and you know this too, women, you know how to make the situation happy. You know how to act nice. You know how to be grateful.
You know how to not let stupid comments that would never bother me
Right.
get under your skin.
You know what you're doing. And we know that you know.
I
what
see
you're doing.
you,
I
see me,
Yeah,
see you.
Exactly.
Right.
I got the fucking beat on this shit. You
Oh my
had
God.
me for a little while, but now I see what y'all motherfuckers are doing. And guess what? I still don't understand it.
Yeah. And we're not trying to bash women.
Yeah, maybe a
this-
little bit.
No, well, I mean, we're just
not in general.
But no, we're just calling it like it is. And I'm not saying all women act like this, but I would say if I had to that's why the Real Housewives, all that petty, catty shit,
Yeah.
even though a lot of it I'm sure is made up and
Oh, yeah.
scripted, is so popular.
Oh, yeah.
Because women secretly want to hate other women.
Dude, it's like the WNBA.
Right, of course.
The WNBA.
Why aren't there women getting paid the same amount? Well, because you ain't supporting.
They don't watch the WNBA.
And there are some very talented women in the WNBA.
I can't even name the team.
Oh, I can't either. I can only
I
name.
can name
I
one
can.
player
I can name.
except the lady that got arrested
Arrested
in
in
Russia.
Russia, yeah.
And I still don't remember her name. Brittany Grimes.
Brittany Grimes.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's the only WNBA player that
She
I
put
know.
WNBA on the map for us.
And I kind of liked it, especially when she got released, not when she was being held. But I kind of liked it because she was all woke this, woke that. She was all like F America. You know, she was all like kneeling during the flag and all this kind of stuff. Like she was this like anti-American
And
democracy.
let's point out that Ben is a veteran, so he has served his country. So that is a slap in the face and a kick in the balls.
Well, I just think that if you this is a completely different subject, but the reason why I liked it is because a lot
you
of
want
these
America
people,
now, don't you?
A lot of these people who dislike America or dislike our way of life, but they've never known anything else.
Oh, she got a
They've
taste
never
of that.
seen anything else. They've never been outside of their hometown. She got a little taste of what it's like to be outside of America
Begging for America.
with a vape pen.
It was a bunch of them, wasn't it?
I don't know how many it was, but she got caught with some vape pens.
And they used her as a political tool.
Oh, and she got thrown in Russian frickin' labor camp.
Yeah. And I mean, she was
Possibly forever.
she was begging for America.
Begging for America. Now she waves the flag. She says the Pledge of Allegiance. She kisses the ground, and she's probably going to vote for Donald Trump. I mean, she's been converted. How do you go from Biden to Trump? Get thrown in a Russian prison.
Yeah. And
Where you can't be, where they can't get you out.
right. And they're like, "Oh, let's do an appeal." No.
Sorry, we don't really care.
Yeah.
No, but
Yeah.
I voted for you.
And what
Good
did they
for you.
give her? What was the initial sentence? It was like 18
Oh,
years.
yeah, it was brutal. And then the problem is, once you're in the system, whatever your initial sentence is,
Oh, they'll
bro,
charge you
once
for
you're in. Oh, what did you say? 5 more
treason.
years.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, they'll have you there your whole life.
right. Or they'll use it to, trade, and they'll
Look at Julian Assange.
and how long was the United States like, "Oh, we're going through back channels to try to get her out." And Russia's like, "No, because they know if they drag it out a little longer." Of course. Anyway, getting back on that subject, off that subject, how did we spin that way? It was
Well, we had a letter, and
No, I know that, but we're talking about just the chaos that is created, and why it's created. And I have to deal with it
and how to tamp it down.
She won't. She won't.
Just tamp it down.
Yeah, she won't. It's like, it's constant, and I'm not going to point out any exact things, but I very little fire off. Anything about like bringing my wife's family into. Well, I like everybody on my wife's side when I get to see them.
You're a man.
That's true, and they're men.
You have found something that you like about them, and you choose to focus on that.
Correct.
Sure, there may be things that you dislike about them, but
which I don't.
You keep whatever that is out of it. Focus. There's probably things they dislike about you too. We all know this. We're all people. People judge. It's how we are. It's called being an adult. There's going to be things you like about people. There's going to be things you don't like about people. Focus, if you want to get along,
right,
on the things that you do like about them. Compliment them on the things that you like about them.
And
ask
also
them questions about the things that they're good at.
Right. And also, when you get to know someone's family, obviously the husband has talked about his childhood, and maybe he had a good childhood, maybe he had a rocky childhood. Don't prosecute things that somebody did in the past, not to you.
Yeah.
Now, and especially if the husband or that family member has made amends and has moved on. You don't need to throw that up. Your dad did this to your mom, or your mom did this to your dad. And
that's a pretty significant wound for me. Thank you for bringing it up.
But no one's perfect.
And
no one has the same journey.
No, but everybody has good qualities and bad qualities. You can focus. It's hard to do, but it's a reflection of ultimately how we talk to ourselves. That's the scary thing about it. It's the way that we treat others, especially the way that we treat those we love, is more akin to the way we treat ourselves than anything else. It's a reflection of how we treat ourselves. And there's a bigger picture there, which is that, we only get so much time. We're not going to ever arrive at this place where everything's right. This is our life. This is the moment. This is our timeline. This is the story. This is the book. And so you can choose to look at things, to see the things and appreciate the things that are there, rather than to look at and be wanting of and desperate for and have a problem with the things that are not there. You have a choice. Focus on what is there and be grateful for it, or focus on what's not there.
It's a great
and
point.
Be ungrateful.
And that goes really in anything.
For everything. Because here's the thing. Wherever you put your focus, and unfortunately you can't put it in both places, covers the other thing up. So if I focus on what's not there, and I'm ungrateful for it, and I'm pissed off, that makes me ungrateful and pissed off at everything that is there. It bleeds over, right? Likewise, if you focus on what is there and you are grateful for it and you are, appreciative of it, and you look how great things are, that also bleeds over.
It's like you can't...
and covers up the other side.
It's like you can't be mad and laugh hysterically at the same time.
No.
I mean, you can't. No, because whatever because if you...
Right.
You could be pissed off, and it could be the most trivial thing, or it could be something important. But then if you see something that makes you fucking belly laugh, you're not in a bad mood anymore.
No, like if you see somebody kind of trip and fall.
Yeah. Oh my God, dude.
Obviously they didn't get hurt, but especially like if they're trying to show off.
Yeah. So and Ben, those were all great points, and I don't know why. So ladies, we're not bashing you, but you know what? Sometimes you're the problem, and sometimes we're the problem. But in this case, Ben has a point, and I think I agree that chaos is something that women love.
Yes. Drama.
Yeah.
Focusing on what's not there.
Don't Don't do it. For your husband's sake, for your sake. But anyway, we could talk about men and bash ourselves because we're fucking idiots too.
Yeah, but I'm comfortable with the fact that
I'm an idiot.
I'm not right.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
I'm comfortable with the fact that I fuck things up.
But you know what? But we can get along with anybody.
I forget things. I do. I leave shit everywhere.
Yeah.
It's okay with
You're a fucking Tasmanian devil.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
I get it. Would I prefer to leave things everywhere? No, not necessarily. I don't prefer it.
Your wife probably would you probably have less, she'd have less to bitch at you.
I have accepted that this is
you.
I still love me.
And you should. And you should.
I still love me. I love it when I have to go back in the house, you know?
8 times?
I love it when I go to lunch to take somebody out and I don't have my wallet.
See, when I do that and my wife, we go out and I'm like, fuck, I forgot my wallet. She thinks I did it on purpose.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why would I do that?
She's like, you cheap bastard.
Yeah, seriously. Like I have this thing like I would do that. Well, I guess maybe my wife's, and I've been guilty of this before. Like, you know, sometimes I won't, if I know, and I've talked about the situation where I'm going out with people and they always pay and they have a lot more money than me. And normally they pay.
Yeah, like
and
no
I
move.
Just like my dad, like I wouldn't even reach for my wallet. And I just was like, fuck that gesture.
Yeah.
And my wife's like, you cheap fuck. But no, so I'm going to end it and we can switch subjects because there's a lot to cover, actually. So I was driving to Best Buy today, and I pull up to the light at this intersection. I look over to the left, and I'm talking to my wife on the phone, and there is a body on the park bench or on the bench right on the corner.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming the dude had his head zipped up in his coat because he looked like a headless fucking body just sitting at the thing. And he had a walker in front of him.
Oh, my gosh.
But it almost looked like a stuffed thing. I'm like, I look over, I'm like, holy shit, there's a headless fucking dude.
Yeah.
That made me laugh.
Yeah.
And I don't think he literally lost his head.
He's just cold and homeless and sitting on a park bench with
which I thought was funny. I don't know. I mean,
that's pretty horrible of you.
Yeah, I know. I felt like a dick.
You're
after.
a horrible person.
But it did make me laugh because I was like,
you're like, haha, look at that guy out in the cold.
No, I was like, dude, there's a headless fucking guy over there. I'm like trying to make it out.
Headless man.
Is this a guy with his head tucked in his coat and zipped up because he's cold, sleeping on the bench? Or is that a fucking headless body? Couldn't tell. Didn't see any blood. Hey, once again, thanks for listening to the ManFUzed Podcast. You have feelings about the show? Please join us. Hit us up at manfused.com, 770-744-5227. You can subscribe for free. Share the show. We're on all major podcast platforms. Thanks for listening.
Foo Media.